Hey Libra, what's going on? It's your girl D here with 8th House Energy, here to bring you your Uranus and retrograde reading. Uranus goes into retrograde on August 19th, which is Thursday, and it is going to be in retrograde until January 18th of 2022. Now, we are already in the pre-shadow stages of Uranus retrograde. We've been in those pre-shadow energies. You know, keep in mind, pre-shadow means 2 weeks prior. So the 2 weeks prior to the date it's supposed to go into official retrograde. So some of us may have been feeling those energies since August 5th, okay? So with that being said, let's talk about Uranus. Uranus is a planet of rebellion. It's the planet of surprise. Now, you don't know if it's going to be a good surprise or not. You know, Uranus is the planet where, you know, a surprise could be it's a hurricane or it's a tornado, like that type of energy, especially when we're talking about it being in Taurus. Taurus is all about the grounded energy, you know, buildings, big ash trees that have been here for, you know, before your mother's mother's mother and my mother's mother's mother, you know, those solid structures that have been, that's what Taurus is all about. So when you look at the buildings, you know, that are here, that have been here since 1600, or, you know, that's Taurus energy. And so Uranus is all about, you know, rebellion, surprise. So, you know, Uranus does have a lot to do with Uranus and Taurus. When we're in this season, we see a lot of earthquakes. We see tornadoes. You know, it's hurricane season right now, you know, what we used to call back in the day El Nino season in the Caribbean. And that goes on until like October. So, you know, I think there's 4 storms brewing right now where I saw last night when I was looking at the a news clip. It's like 4 of them just sitting out there in the Atlantic Ocean, just brewing up, you know. So that's what Uranus in retrograde could mean in Taurus. But, you know, Uranus, when it's in retrograde, you know, Uranus is the planet of rebellion. It's the planet of surprise. It's the planet of the renegade. It's the planet of the, you know, your unique individuality, you know, the inner genius in you. Okay, that scientist in you, that weirdo in you. So you may want to take a look at your chart and see where, you know, in your natal chart, where Uranus is. And where it is whatever sign it's in, those are the characteristics that will display in your behavior and your attitude and your thought process when you're in that renegade mode, when you're in that, you know what, that scientist, that mad scientist mode, when you're in that super intelligent mode. So, you know, or how you will respond when things happen to you, you know, like a surprise may happen, you know, it's like, surprise, what do? The way you act and respond to that would be the characteristics of the sign that Uranus is in your chart. So just a little something so you know what Uranus is about. So this is why I tell you guys, you should always look at your natal chart, and you should look at all the placements in your chart for the readings, because you don't really get a full picture of who you are and what's going on in your world if you don't understand just the basic placements of your chart. So with that being said, we talked about what Uranus is all about. Uranus, as far as the physical body, it rules the ankles, your ankles, your calves, your lower legs. Okay, and it also has a little bit to do with the nervous system and nervous disorders. So depending on what aspects you have in your chart to Uranus, you could be experiencing things like, you know, cerebral palsy, Bell palsy, nervous conditions and nervous disorders. I believe Tourette's is one as well. I was just in the store this morning, no joke, and it's a gentleman who was, he just like, I made a loud outburst in the store, and I'm just like, oh my God, what the hell's going on? So I happened to walk, you know, near him or around him, and I saw that there was a security guard near him or whatever, and, you know, the man just had Tourette's. And so I don't know if these people knew this or not, or if they were nervous about it or not. But I immediately, you know, when you're around somebody who has Tourette's, for those of you who don't know, this person will just spaz out in the middle of you, just whatever's doing, and they'll just spaz out and be real loud and, you know, draw attention. And it's like everybody's looking like, what the hell is wrong with this person? That's somebody who has Tourette's, just so you know. Now, there are some people who are just crazy, but then there's some people who have Tourette's. There's a difference. So, you know, I saw today, this morning, when I was in the grocery store. So that just let me know, yeah, we in this Uranus retrograde energy for sure. So Uranus is in Taurus in retrograde in your 8th house. Now, the 8th house has to do with hidden feelings. You know, this is what the 8th house energy is about. hidden feelings, hidden emotions, ulterior motives. Deals with other people's money. So the way that you get money outside of you working and earning it for you, like somebody may give it to you. So it could come to you in the form of an inheritance. Somebody may want to donate some money to you. Speaking of inheritance, the eighth house deals with that. Inheritance, estates, dealing with, people's financial affairs after they pass away, because, Scorpio also deals with death and rebirth in the physical form as well as in other forms. So when Uranus is in retrograde, what happens is things that happen external to you will make you look within and change your view about it. Okay? So, for example, when we're dealing with eighth house energies, maybe you had some hidden feelings or hidden emotions about a situation and you didn't speak on it because maybe you just didn't want to cause confrontation. Maybe you were in a relationship with someone who was doing you wrong, doing you dirty, and you didn't want to speak on it because, you're a relationship type person. You don't like confrontation, and or you don't want to lose this person, right? But this person is constantly behaving in a manner where they're being disrespectful to you and you need to speak up and you're not speaking up. So say, this person was being disrespectful as in they were cheating on you. You hear the sirens, right? Say they were cheating on you, messing around, and you refuse to speak up about it, but yet you refuse to let the person go. You refuse to cut them off. But your hidden feelings and emotions are telling you, I need to cut this person off. They're no good for me, blah, 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 woo, woo, woo. Well, the person ends up leaving you anyway, or you find out they've been cheating on you for years with somebody else, and then they want to leave. Now they're telling you they want to leave. After you put up with their bullshit all this time, you put up with their bullshit, you put your feelings to the side for the sake of the union, you dealt with their bullshit, and now all of a sudden they want to leave you for someone else. And they leave, right? So now Uranus is in retrograde, and you're looking at the situation like, yo, why didn't I just speak up? I could have been got this person out of my life. Now that they're out their life, now that your life is better. And you're like, damn, why didn't I speak up sooner? Why did I deal with this all these years? And all these years I wanted to cut this person off anyway. Asshole. I should have just told him how I felt in the first place and told him to get to kick rocks and get to stepping in. That type of energy is an example of what you're going to be dealing with Uranus in your eighth house when it comes to Taurus, because Taurus is all about stability. So there's something that was stable in your life that you may have been afraid to make unstable, so you may not have spoke on it. You may have kept your feelings to the side about it. So it could have been, about, unfortunately the eighth house deals with STDs. So maybe in this scenario with this person that I'm telling you about, you were dealing with, maybe this person gave you an STD, right? And you found out you have it, but you're like, how the hell did I get it? Because I don't sleep around. And yet this person is telling me they're not sleeping with nobody, but I'm not sleeping with anybody else. So how the hell did I get it? You know what I'm saying? And you may not say nothing about it. You may go get it taken care of, but then you go sleep with the person again because you don't want to, you know what I mean? It's like that type of energy. And now in retrospect, this person ends up leaving you to be with someone else. You finally accept it and you're like, damn, I should have just been spoke up. I should have been said something. And it could be also in reference to other people's money. Maybe your family, somebody passed away, someone left something behind, and the family's arguing and fighting over who's going to get what. And maybe you didn't speak up about it, and, after it's all said and done, maybe you're looking at it like, damn, I should have said something about it, or I should have brought it up, but I didn't because I didn't want to cause confrontation or confusion or aggravation or fights. That type of energy. So let's see, that's just an example, because, again, the eighth house deals with hidden emotions, but it also deals with shared resources. So, for example, in taxes as well. So maybe you have money to pay these taxes and you've been putting it off, and then boom, COVID comes and you lose your job. And say, you can't pay the taxes, like say the person who died, they didn't leave a will. And now the house is in probate, meaning that it's in court tied up for a year or two until, they decide how much they want to charge you to get it. And then you come up with the money and pay for it. And you knew this was coming, but maybe you just waited and put it off. And then COVID came and you lost your job and boom, you didn't have it. So now you're looking back like, damn, why didn't I just pay them taxes when I had the money? What the hell? You know what I'm saying? So it makes you look at things. What it does is there's things that happen in your external environment. And usually what the things are that you really want to change are things that are going to give you some type of freedom or relief. from something. So yeah, you speaking up about that relationship would have gave you freedom, but maybe you didn't want to be free. You didn't want to be single. Maybe, you were afraid of being single. You know what I mean? Or you didn't want that person to go because maybe you didn't have somebody else and you didn't want to be alone. Or maybe you didn't want to speak up about or you didn't want to pay the taxes because, that would have been a financial constraint and that wouldn't have gave you financial freedom to pay all of that money for the taxes right away. So let's see what the universe has to say in reference to Uranus in retrograde in your 8th house. And also power struggles, So the scenario I gave you with the relationship, that's a power struggle, Because Pluto's in Scorpio. Pluto rules Scorpio. So look at this. Look what comes out. It says life is speeding up. So now that that situation is over, now that that person has left, because that person could have been a karmic in your life, meant to teach you a lesson about self-respect and speaking up for yourself. Okay? And so as a result, now this person is gone anyway because they weren't meant to stick around anyway. And maybe you were trying to keep them around. You knew this person wanted to go be with someone else and you would do everything you possibly could to keep this person around. 8th house also deals with the occult. So maybe you was doing spell work. Maybe you knew this person eventually once they did all they did. You've been with them. You rode, you were ride or die with them. And then all of a sudden they want to be with somebody else and they want to be with someone else and you don't want to let them go. But yet you're not happy with them because they're not giving you what you want anyway. And so maybe you do some spell work, to keep them from going to be with the other person. But the thing is that they still with you and they're not happy with you. And you're not happy with them either because you're compromising their will, And so when you compromise somebody's will and they want to leave and you don't let them, they're going to eventually act out on you. So maybe this person acted out on you in such a way where you were like, you know what, I should have just never did this. I should have just let them go. Something like that. So now that that situation is over, for some of you it's over, what happens is the universe is going to start blessing you now because you let go of that karmic connection. Because again, that was somebody that the universe was put in your life to teach you a lesson, to speak up so that you could cut the relationship off, but you never got the chance to do so. That's just an example. So now that that karmic situation is tied up, life is going to speed up. The universe is going to start bringing you in your blessings because your life was not, you didn't have the blessings that you were supposed to get, or they were held up until this karmic cycle was completed out. So, now that Uranus is in retrograde, you may be thinking back like, damn, why didn't I speak up sooner? Why didn't I end this relationship sooner? Why was I afraid to, and here I am alone anyway. The end result is I'm without this person. So life is speeding up. So now the universe is going to bless you. All right. So let's get something from the E deck and see, because this is going to be a really quick read. Okay. And then we're going to wrap this up. All right. What does Libra need to know? Thank you. We got abracadabra, baby. Let's see what abracadabra means. Let me get the book. I had this deck for a little while, but I just never really saw where it was useful to use it until now. So, abracadabra says, Aladdin's not the only one with 3 wishes. You too have a magical lamp that can summon all you desire to your doorstep. It's a simple matter of making a clear intention and letting go of any fool notion that you have to wait for the genie. You are the magic. So let me read it again. Aladdin's not the only one that has 3 wishes. You too have a magical lamp that can summon all your desires to your doorstep. It's a simple matter of making a clear intention and letting go of any fool notion that you have to wait for the genie. You are the magic. Didn't I just talk to you about that? Where you thought that you had to wait for the genie to end the misery with that person, instead of you just taking your lamp and rubbing it and saying, I want this bullshit ass relationship out my life. You're the one who was in control. For some of you, you finally spoke up. But for others, this person ended up leaving. That's just a scenario, right? There could have been other things that went down with the 8th house, but that's a major scenario. And plus, I've been doing your reading, so I know what y'all been going through. So that's the scenario here. So the universe is telling you, why did you wait so long? So some of you are thinking that, like, damn, why did I wait so long? I'm single anyway. This person's out of my life, and I'm happier for it. And I got blessings coming. I should have been cut their ass off, right? But that's what Uranus in retrograde will do. External factors will happen to you, and as a result, your inner thought process about it will change. And again, Uranus has to do with your freedom. So it's going to be, you may have been stifled in some way of getting what it was that you wanted because maybe you didn't take the initiative, or you took the initiative and it wasn't time. Some of you were still in a relationship that wasn't any good because it was not time. You had not learned all the lessons you needed to learn. So this person had to stick around for a little longer. All right. But again, just an example. Everybody may not resonate with that, but you can look up the 8th house energies, right? Do some research. Look up the 8th house energies and look at how, Uranus may affect you in your life. Again, Uranus is basically, and when it's in retrograde, it's about external factors happening and how those external factors make you look at things differently. All right. Or make you change your mind about your approach. Maybe you should have did something that you didn't, or maybe you did something that you regretted. Okay. And now you have a chance to change that up. So with that being said, that's your Uranus retrograde reading. If you need a personal, my information is in the box below. Thanks for checking out the video. I'll see you guys in the next one.